Good? Isn't the hottest seat in sports right now courtside? I think so, right? I'm curious to know, we don't have all the courtside seats filled over here. Why wouldn't you want to sit courtside? That's my favorite seat at any arena in the country. Welcome. My name is Grady Diaz. I'm Latina. I'm proudly Dominican and Boricua, so really excited. Oh, hey, we're out here, baby. I'm super excited. I'm a journalist, host, producer, creative. I wear many hats. I've worked with some of the biggest sports brands and companies in the world. I've had the privilege of building relationships with so many athletes and helping tell their stories, which is what I am so passionate about. And I'm really excited about this moment, this movement, this ecosystem that we all are a part of. We all have a choice and an opportunity every day we get to make an impact in women's sports. So I am so excited to be here with you all today and learn from you, meet you, and be a part of this moment. So thank you again. And I'd love to introduce the editor-in-chief and co-founder of Sportico, Scott Soshnick. Welcome. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Grady. And that's the polished portion of the program, and now you get me. Y Grady, si tú prefieres, yo puedo hacer la entrevista en español. Sí, después vamos a hablar. I'm only going to do that a little bit. But I did learn from a Dominican. Yeah, so there we go. Santo Domingo in Santiago. I cannot believe it has been a year since we were standing here on this court doing this. However, I can believe that the momentum from year to year has carried through. Evolution, revolution, whatever you want to call it. We at Sportico cover the business of sports. We do not distinguish, that's a women's sports story, that is a football. We cover the stories that deserve to be covered on a regular basis. If that is the NWSL, great. If that's the WNBA, great. If it's rugby, great. We're there to cover the stories in business that matter. That is all made up of the people who make up the ecosystem. Today, we have a fairly newcomer to kick things off in Lauren Leichtman, owner of the San Diego Wave. She's been at this almost a year. I believe she's making her sports business event debut. So she's starting at the top with Sportico and you folks. So we appreciate that. Lauren, come on up. It's like walk-up music.
Thank you.
So I mentioned you're about a month away from your one-year anniversary of the purchase of the Wave. Tell me, how's it been?
It's been interesting. I think it's been so many things. I think we were so excited to buy the Wave. We had wanted to be in women's sports for many years, particularly soccer. We had an interest in. We knew Jill Ellis, who was the head of the team for at least 20 years. So I think it was just all a little bit overwhelming, not really sure what to expect. From a business standpoint, coming from private equity and making literally hundreds of investments, evaluating companies, meeting management teams, there is a similarity, and there are certain business practices that work. But when with a team, the human element is completely different. The team is having a group of people that have to go out on the field and perform on a regular basis. I mean, you're not in control of that. People get injured, they have feelings, there are things that come up, their opponents behave a certain way. So trying to understand all that in the context of an investment is definitely a challenge.
I asked Dan Gilbert years ago, the owner of the Cleveland Cavaliers, what is it like to be LeBron's boss? Furrowed his brow for a moment and said, LeBron does not have a boss. So I say to you, why do you want to be in the business where technically you are the boss, but you're not the boss.
You should have asked me that before I bought the team. It's exciting to help people. I don't know, it's exciting to watch the achievement of the players and to feel invested. When Arthur and I, my partner, husband, Arthur Levine, when we started our private equity business 40 some odd years ago, we built it with a family culture. We have 3 children. We were respectful of people with their families. We wanted people in our firm to feel like they were working for a family that cared about them. That's the same culture we are bringing to the Wave. And it's like a family for me. It's exciting to see what they can achieve, to help them get there, to provide them the kind of training, nutrition, training fields, you know, accommodation, whatever we can do to see the achievement. And it's very fulfilling. It really is.
How did the deal happen? I imagine there's a certain amount of education that needs to take place before you just jump in. What was that process like?
Well, we tried to buy a couple of teams before. We had tried to buy Portland, we tried to buy LA, and
what did you learn from those processes?
I think when we were looking at Portland, the disparity, so the prior Portland owner, not the current one, but the prior one, they owned the men and the women's team. And there was a tremendous disparity in the way the women's team was treated from the men, which was not that surprising, but definitely concerning. That was something that we weren't necessarily going to be able to fix because of the contracts that were in place. When we were working with LA, they had so many owners, and there was so much going on there in terms of, you know, who was going to be in control and who wasn't and how much and this and that. And that's also... It was too muddy. It wasn't clear. When we worked with Burkle, when we bought the Wave, it was one-on-one. We found out it was for sale. We called him. He sent out his kind of head guy, and we worked directly with him one-on-one. So I think we learned from both of those processes that neither of those would have worked for us. We like to be the owners. We like to be, given the fact that this is a team, as much in control as possible. And I like to try and go in where I know at least I have a chance of having an even playing field. I think the odds, I'm sure Portland, the new owners, the Bethals, are doing a great job, but for us, that particular situation wasn't going to work.
Tell me about the diligence and compare it to the private equity world. How are they same and how are they different?
I mean, they're much the same in certain ways. You're looking at the financials, you're looking at management, you're looking at trends, you're trying to, in this particular case, you're looking at the league and what the contracts are and the obligations back and forth. You're interviewing management at the Wave. It's much the same. I think the amount of information that was available to us, that was provided us, was substantially less than we would ever have been able to have demanded in a private equity deal. We could have gotten far more information.
Would you advocate for that to change in the process?
I mean, I think it depends on the owner you're working with. Yeah, I think you should I believe in full transparency. If you're selling something, you know, I'm not trying to kid anybody. They're going to find out anyway. Just let them know. I mean, that's how we operate. But everybody's different.
I know Steve Horowitz is in the room. I know he and his folks are
very,
in the circle. That can be challenging in and of itself.
Poor Steve. He was ripping his hair out of his head as we were calling and, you know, asking him things.
Is it an easier transaction than private equity? Is it more difficult? Is there emotional attachment? Is there, you got a family component?
I think when you're buying, well, if you're a family buying something, there's much more emotional attachment than if it's a business. And, you know, if Levine Leichtman Capital Partners is buying something, yeah, I really want it, but I'm not as personally involved as when we're buying the Wave and it's something for our family that we really want to be invested in.
When I ask team owners all the time, very simple question when we come across each other, how are you doing? Invariably, the response is, oh, we lost last night. Oh, my best pitcher's on the disabled list. Oh, my running back. I said, no. I know how the team is doing. That's public. How are you doing?
No, but I think it becomes very much a part of you. If our team goes out and they don't have a good, successful experience, or if there's a problem, you feel that very much. That's what I'm saying. It's much more like a family than just your ordinary portfolio company. Oh, I invested in this franchise company. They make hot dogs. They're really great, you know.
Take me back to the genesis of it all, though, the World Cup, your family, like I said, you've mentioned family twice, but some are involved in the team, some are not. It really is, though, a family affair.
My family went to the World Cup, the Rose Bowl, and it honestly was the most exciting sporting event I'd ever seen. I had no interest in going whatsoever. My son was a soccer player, my middle son. He's the alternative governor with me, Zach. And he had played over in England for a while, and so our family was very into it, but I was like, yeah, whatever, soccer. And then I just was like electrified. It was just so thrilling. I mean, they're beautiful athletes, and women. You know, when I went to law school, less than 10% of the class was female. So seeing women on the field achieving like that, it was so exciting. And that kind of sparked it. My daughter was into it. She was with my husband when they went to watch a women's soccer practice at UCLA. She was about 10 years old, and they're watching and everything, and some man is talking to them, and it turns out to be the head of development for UCLA, and Arthur's saying to him, well, how many grant aids do you have for the women's soccer team? And he goes, none. Well, how many do you have for the men's? It was like 100. So my daughter, who's 10, looks at him and goes, Dad, what are you going to do about that? So we have this kind of long history and participation, and Sabrina works with us, and my son, and I have one son who's not involved.
You were talking about the Wave primarily, but that
Yes.
involvement with UCLA, I mean, college sports is professionalized now as well. How much more are you doing there?
Well, we rebuilt the women's softball stadium there. We helped build the soccer field there. We built the locker rooms there. We put some scholarships over there. So helped the crew team different times, helped send female athletes with their children to the Olympics in Tokyo. We're still pretty involved over there.
So give me the elevator pitch on the NWSL at this moment. Why is it a good investment?
Oh, I think the NWSL is right at the cusp of taking off. We've seen team prices go up. I think we've seen fan interest explode. We have tremendous talent on the field. We're building the infrastructure of the league. I think everything is in front of us. I think a lot of the heavy lifting has been done. So,
what worries you?
competition from Europe, basically, I think worries me.
Super League?
Yep, I think so, yeah.
Your labor contracts seem to, again, that was done before you took over,
Yes.
but it seemed to be a nod towards what the rest of the world looked like, and you're trying to keep the best players
We are.
here.
We are. We have a lot of thoughts about that, so hopefully we'll be successful.
Give me a macro look of sport in general, investment in sport, because teams are at the centerpiece, but I call them the hub of the business. But sports business is technology, it's media, it's real estate, it's finance. How do you position the Wave in what is sort of a modern platform company?
My goodness. I'm not sure I can answer that for you. I think that just from a private equity standpoint, we look at the finances a certain way. We want to have a well-structured, well-financed team. We're looking at infrastructure. We're looking at sponsorships, so we're evaluating media, how we can reach out to them. Technology, you know, VAR is a big thing right now with the league, so we have a lot of trainers coming in, trying to apply more technology to help our athletes perform better. So that's a much more complicated question than I think I can answer for you right now.
What's the investment required?
Huge.
Yeah.
Seriously, huge, yeah.
Huge and is huger, and getting huger.
I think it's a lot of money. I think you need to have a lot of money to own a team.
Is that, I'm looking at the investment now. Lots of people have money though.
Yeah.
But I think the difference in sport now, at all, and this could be the NFL, the NBA, NWSL, it's not the how much. I think it is the who. What are the other attributes that you bring to the table? What else in that room, you have an owners meeting after this. It matters who's sitting around that table.
Oh, 100%. It really does. How, basically, what is each person getting out of being an owner? Why do they want to be an owner? Do they want to be an owner because the sole reason being at some point they're going to sell their team for whatever and they're going to make a lot of money? Is there something else going on there, some attachment to what is being produced on the field that gives you joy? That's how I look at it for this particular thing. Maybe not for other businesses, but I think for sports. And not all sports owners are created equal. So I think when we're sitting around at the owners meeting and we're talking about, you know, competition from Europe, training facilities, best sports practices, things like that, what might be contributed by one owner could be completely different because they are sitting in there for a different reason. They don't want to put the energy or the money or whatever. They don't care. Their team's going to rise on the backs of all the other teams. But I, and certainly our family, we don't feel that way.
So what's the ethos when you sit down with management, players, say, this is our North Star.
Right.
This is what the culture we're building.
Right.
What do you say to them and how do you make sure it permeates the
I
organization?
say what I'm saying to you, exactly the same thing. This is really important to our family. This is a legacy for us. If you achieve, we achieve. I want you to tell me what you need to be successful on the playing field.
And what about the players? What is your relationship with the players? Do you want to have a relationship with the players? Sometimes it has to be cold-blooded.
Yeah, I think so. We want the players to, yes, we definitely want to have a relationship with the players, but I don't want to interfere either with what the GM has to do, what the coach has to do. So it's kind of a balance there. But yes, I think we have a very good relationship with the players. We've had meetings with the players, we've had dinners with the players. I think it's important for the players to know the owners and know that we really care about what they're doing out there so they can feel proud too. It's not just because they're out there sweating, okay, running all over and giving their all and maybe getting injured. So I think it would be nice for them to know that the people who own the team actually care about them.
Is this a start in sports for you, or is this a...
God, I hope so. I hope so.
On plans, do you want to do other things, other
Yes.
teams, other leagues? How grand is the plan?
Well, right now it's small, but kind of like with Leichtman, we started with one investment and we have $20 billion of capital and hundreds of investments. So we'll see how it goes.
What's your best performer over the years? What was your best exit?
Oh my goodness. One of many, but something that other people might know here is something called Tropical Smoothie Cafe. Huge
Big
success.
I can tell you it's very big in the youth hockey circuit before and after
Oh, really?
games. Oh, yes. You should market to the youth hockey circuit. I spend all of my money there.
Okay.
It's very good.
Yeah.
Will you have the team do business with other portfolio companies? Can you figure out how they can work together?
I don't think we could do that, no. I think the league has some rules about that.
You started to tell me backstage about how you consummated the deal. I think that's fascinating. Everybody seems to have fun, interesting stories of how the deal got done. Please share yours.
This was done very much like the way that Arthur and I used to do deals in the 80s before we were in private equity. And it was basically a handshake and a napkin in Paris at the Soho House. So we had been trying to make this deal with Ron, and we'd kind of gotten to a sticking point. And we were in Paris, and we were both like, oh, this isn't going anywhere. We're never going to get this team. And Zach called us, and he goes, do you know that Ron's in Paris right now? We're like, no. So we called him up and said, look, can we meet and try to, put the milk back in the bottle? And he's like, okay. So we got together at the Soho House, which he owns, I guess. And, Arthur...
As one does.
And Arthur says, so, okay, what's important to you? Writes down the things. This is what's important to us. Okay, can we agree on this, 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 this? Yeah, okay, so he gets up, gets 2 napkins, writes the 4 things down on 2 napkins. He signs it, Ron signs it. He hands him 1 napkin, we take a napkin. That was it, deal done.
Where are the napkins?
Oh, we've got them. Oh, we framed it.
I'm curious, what's the relationship like between you and your husband on game day? What's
Oh,
his behavior?
forget it.
What's your behavior?
It's horrible. I can't talk to him. No, I can't. No, I'm trying to watch the game, and he's like, he's feeling every play. He says to me, well, if we're not in LA, he's like, why did you turn this on? I can't watch this. Oh, my God. I'm like, calm down, calm down. Got to see what's going on. Got to see the players. Yeah, terrible.
So Alex Morgan comes in as a limited partner.
Yes, very exciting for us.
Yeah, just the role of limited partners and the expertise and what they bring. How do you view it, and how do you plan to move forward with that?
I think we ask them kind of what their interest is and what they want to do, what their skill set with Alex, obviously, her social media presence, her reputation, her relationships with the players, all very helpful. The way she sees things, how they can roll out, how she can maybe give suggestions, and depending on what she wants to do.
People ask me all the time, and a lot of folks on our staff, if I was going to invest in sports, where should I put my money? What's the opportunity? What am I missing? Where is the NWSL now in that opportunity scale? Is it first inning, third inning, fifth inning? You missed it, tough, we're lucky?
No, I don't think you missed it. I think we're like in second or third inning.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, I think it's really early. I really do.
And what makes you say that? What are the...
Because I think they had a really hard time getting off the ground. There were a lot of issues that came up. There were legal issues, financial issues, and they've essentially worked through that. Okay, that was fortunately right before we bought our team. And so now we're looking at, again, as I say, okay, how do we get from square one to square 10? How do we need to capitalize this? What kind of money can we make? How can the media deals be structured? How can we inform best practices for our teams and our players? How can we deal with competition from Europe? How can we get the best players here? How do we retain our talent? So
Yeah, how do you do all those things? Please tell me. How do you do those things?
I have no freaking idea. Honestly, each one is a different skill set. And that's I think one of the most interesting things about this, and one of the most complicated things, is that it's a completely new field to learn. Each of these things require different streams of thought, different knowledge areas. So I'm investing in a franchise business, of which I've had many, 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 there are many common themes, right? And while here, there's a common theme, and you want a balanced budget, you need a P&L, you want best practices, but each silo is completely different. So for me, having to learn all this is great, but I think that the league is now in a position where they can really address all these things, where I think they haven't been able to as well before, because there's been so much noise in other ways.
Just
That
treading
makes
water.
sense?
Now they can focus on
Definitely,
specifics.
definitely.
I'll flex my inner Marcus Lemonis a little bit. There's people, there's product, and there's process. How do you build? What do you focus on?
People first, definitely. Product, those two things go together. You have to have a good product. If we're looking at a company, we say you have to be cash flow positive or we're not interested. Maybe the league is a little bit different, the teams are a little bit different, but people, product, so we want to put a good product on the field, something that people want to buy, to be, okay, a little gross about it. And then process. You have to put the process so that it all works together. That's how I look at it.
I'd like a peek at that napkin, though. You just said we want to be cash flow positive for us to
Well,
invest.
that wasn't
I'm
on
guessing
there.
this is a
That wasn't on there.
Okay, I'm guessing for this transaction, that was probably different.
No, yeah.
I asked Mark Cuban years ago, Mark, successful season if you, 1, win the championship, 2, lose $50 million. He said, hell yeah, success. Same question to you. Lose money, win a championship.
No, definitely win.
Once or?
Multiple.
No, but I mean, are you okay you got to get that first one,
Yeah.
but then you want the win and make money at the same time. It's not okay to lose money and win after.
No, you don't want to lose money. You really don't. No, who wants to lose money? That's crazy.
Right. So it has to be both.
Yeah, but it might take a while to get there.
Right.
And I think if you own a sports team, you have to understand that.
Do you?
Do I understand
Do you
it?
want? I think you
Barely.
do. Do you? What is that learning curve? Are we hockey stick? Are we vertical? What's the learning curve for folks getting in the business?
For making money or learning curve?
Both.
I think there are some of our owners who have owned other sports teams, probably not such a steep learning curve. For someone like myself or our family, much steeper. From a financial side, I'd say it's still a pretty steep curve. I wouldn't say hockey stick quite yet.
What's the biggest lesson you've learned or mistake you've made or something you'd change?
I think the biggest thing I've learned is just how different it is to have a business and a group of individuals who aren't necessarily, they're not like standing at an assembly line making the product. They're out there on their own, right? And so, like when we invest in private equity, we try to eliminate as many factors that we can't control. So anything that is, overall GDP affected, we try to eliminate that. We don't like to invest in things where there's commodity pricing, where there's a lot of government regulation, a lot of high CapEx expenditures, things like that. When you have a team, once they go out on that field, you can forget all that. I can control this. And I think that's the biggest lesson. I didn't even really think about it.
How frustrating is that, though? I mean, I should maybe ask Arthur, does she like to control things? Must be frustrating to have it be totally out of control.
No, I actually, it's not. I feel hopeful when I see the direction of our team. So no, I'm not frustrated.
Lauren, we're at zeros. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.